Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to highlight a few redstone basics of timing mechanisms, also known as clocks or tick generators. The whole point of these small circuits is to power larger automated machines. I didn't invent a lot of these fundamentals. I learned them from reading wikis, but also watching content creators like Silent Whisperer, Foxy No Tail, Mumbo Jumbo, JC Plays. A lot of really good content creators out there that teach and have a ton of great videos. I just try to manipulate these techniques to my own builds, so I want to give you a real quick synopsis of those things that I use quite frequently. In future videos, I'll build upon these basics, but let's jump right in and kind of look at the mechanisms of how two different clocks work. I want to start out by showing you one of the simplest redstone clocks that is really easy on resources. This is a standard V-shaped design that starts out by making a T, you knock out the center block, and then you start your circuit by powering the upper right block with a redstone torch. Using a repeater, you send the signal over to the upper left block and create your loop using a bit of redstone dust just underneath that upper left block. And what it does is it creates a little redstone loop where the signal just keeps going around each of those elements, which forms the fundamental of your clock. But what I want to do is take this one step further and actually show you how the power moves through the circuit using redstone lamps. When a redstone lamp receives a redstone signal, it lights up just like a light. After we make our T-shaped design and knock out the middle block, we have to use our 3 redstone components, which is a redstone repeater, a single piece of redstone, and a redstone torch. By clicking the node on the redstone repeater, you can actually change the timing on this circuit, so you'll see that it goes a little bit slower, but I will slow the video down here and explain further. But I want to first give a shout out to the game developer of this texture pack, which is RealSource. If you head to realsourcepack.com, that's where you can download high definition texture packs for RTX ray tracing. So the way that this clock works is it plays off the fundamental that a redstone torch is naturally on. But as soon as a redstone torch receives a redstone signal to the bottom of the handle, so you always have to pay attention to where the bottom of the redstone handle is attached, but as soon as it receives a signal, the redstone torch turns off. So what this loop is doing in a counterclockwise fashion is the redstone torch is powering the upper right block, which then the repeater sends that to the upper left block, and using the bit of redstone on the ground, it perpetuates the signal then to the block at the bottom of the V. As it turns out, that block at the bottom of the V is exactly what your redstone torch is attached to. And because the base of the redstone torch handle is receiving a signal, it turns off. And when the redstone torch turns off, it then no longer powers the upper right block, meaning there's no more signal to get sent across in a counterclockwise fashion, so the circuit turns off. And when the circuit turns off, the redstone torch regains its natural state of on. Anybody who's new to redstone, I suggest investing in some redstone lamps, so whenever you make your own builds, you can keep track of where your redstone signals are going in case you ever have a machine that isn't working as you expect. The last bit to this clock is having a lever to turn off your clock. And what a lever does is it constantly produces a source of redstone power to the circuit, and it doesn't allow it to naturally loop. This next clock is substantially easier to use, but it is rather resource heavy in early game. This clock manipulates the mechanic of observers that any time there is a block update in front of the face, it will generate a redstone pulse on the back side of the observer. So if we take some redstone dust and loop it around, as soon as I place a block in front of the face or remove a block in front of the face, it'll generate a 1 pulse tick. So if we take our first observer and we place another observer facing it, each of those observers will detect that the other one has updated itself, meaning when an observer is off and then transitions to on, that's considered a block update. And because this mechanic has nothing to do with the movement of a redstone signal, a lever has no effect on whether or not this clock is turned on or off. So what we can use is the function of a sticky piston and a lever. And what a sticky piston will do is grab one of those observers and it'll pull the observer away from the circuit, or it'll push the observer towards the circuit. So it's a little bit more of a resource heavy switch, but it works very, very effectively. So then off the back side of one of your observers, you can run a line of redstone dust, you can hook up a repeater, you can hook up a redstone torch, you can do whatever you want, but that's going to be the pulse generation for your machine. And that's it. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to follow us for more tutorials and other happenings within the Potato Crew.